and that means not Britain, not the dismal European dictatorship, but it does mean Canada, it does mean Australia, above all it does mean the United States of America. In those countries, each new opinion poll says that people are believing less and less in this extremist nonsense coming up by the climate extremists. They no longer believe it, they're no longer prepared to vote for it, they're no longer prepared to pay for it, they do not want it, and the global warming profiteers are in desperation trying to call for the final solution to silence the likes of me who dare to raise elementary questions like the one I'm going to raise now, which is how much global warming will a given increase in carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere cause? The answer, in today's atmosphere, we now know by measurement, very, very, very little. It will cause some, but only about a quarter, a fifth, maybe even a seventh or a tenth of the UN's central estimate, and therefore that is harmless and tiny and beneficial. In fact, if we could double the CO2 concentration in the atmosphere, the yield of some staple crops would go up by as much as 40%. CO2 is actually good for you, it's not harmful, but the reason why they want to stamp it out is that if they can pretend it's dangerous, it gives them the excuse to interfere and control every aspect of economic and political life and freedom in the nations of the West. Well,
and selectively,
I have one thing to say to anybody in your Congress who supports those points of view: this is what's going to happen to you. We will vote them out.
Absolutely. Here on that point. As you say, they're getting desperate. We're gaining in an index of polls as much as 2-3 points per week. Just in the last few months, the exposure of these criminals, these control freaks, trying to seize our society through false guilt and fear-mongering, apocalyptic doom is being exposed. But as you said, they're getting even more vicious. Everywhere Al Gore goes, he's now hounded about the Arctic and Antarctic ice sheets exploding in size. He's being hounded about 10 years of temperature going down, 15 of it slowing. Everywhere he goes, crowds are chasing him and trampling him basically politically down into the dirt. So how do you see them counter-striking?
I think as far as Gore is concerned, he's a very sad, lonely figure now. He was the darling of the hour in 2007 when he got his Mickey Mouse Nobel Prize for Peace. He was the darling when he got his Mickey Mouse Oscar for the best sci-fi comedy horror movie. I mean, everybody thought he was just the bee's knees. Now that they've realized that just about everything he said is false from top to bottom, the British High Court saying that the Armageddon scenario that he depicts is not based on any scientific view, he is now finished. Oh, well, he's made a few $100 million in the meantime, so he'll be all right in his retirement, in his Tennessee mansion, which consumes 20 times as much electricity and emits 20 times the carbon footprint of any average house in the United States. He's fine, but he's now an irrelevance. And I think the way we're going to take it back is starting with the tax day rallies all over the United States today, and especially the one here in Washington. We are going to put those in Congress who have drifted along with this garbage on notice that if any of them ever again vote for anything to do with global warming, they will be flung out of office forever. In the present state of the U.S. economy, where the debt from the year dot to the year 2004 was, I think, $4 trillion, it's now $14 trillion, and Obama has managed to add another $4 trillion in just the last 6 months. That kind of flagrant overspending, if he now proposes to increase that overspending still further with all this global warming rubbish, then I think the ordinary taxpayer, the ordinary working guy who might have made the mistake of voting for what I am going to call what it is, a communist administration, will no longer vote for it for Obama. And let's just look at the effect of these enormous tax-increasing measures on Obama's own standing.
Well, stay there, Lord Monckton. We've got to go to break. We're going to come back and we'll go over that. Then we'll talk about all the new scandals filling in other pieces of the puzzle, clearly in 2020 vision, showing massive, organized racketeering and what type of criminal action, what type of criminal charges need to be launched to bring these scallywags to justice. Scienceandpublicpolicy.org is the website of Lord Monckton. Excellent information there, an invaluable research and education tool. We'll put it up on screen during the break here at prisonplanet.tv. And for radio listeners, it's linked up on our websites. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hounded by debt collectors with phone calls and letters? Thinking of calling a debt relief company? Don't. Greedy lawyers and debt companies charge thousands. Why pay when you can get their solution absolutely free with New York Times best-selling author Herb Kay's #1 debt secret, the how-to on stopping the calls without paying the debt companies. Yes, free for a very limited time. Here's Herb Kay.
Don't get ripped off by credit repair companies when I can give you the information you need to do it yourself for free.
Herb Kay was right. His free information helped me stop the calls and settle my debt.
What have you got to lose? Stop the calls now. Get out of debt and have more money. Get Herb Kay's #1 debt secret absolutely free now. Call 800-822-1291. That's 800-822-1291. 800-822-1291.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw of free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power. A gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
They helped to create a new world order. We are part of a new world order.
A new world order based upon collective action.
Invisible Empire is a damning indictment of the globalists through their own words and documents.
The New World Order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It means all the world under their control.
The United Nations would take over America. The Trilateral Commission would control the world.
Invisible Empire chronicles how men of power and influence have worked in stealth for centuries to establish an oppressive world government.
I believe, first of all, that we now need nothing short of a world constitution for the global financial system.
Global governance with the establishment of the G20.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
Invisible Empire. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or watch it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Spring is here. Growing season. The economy is not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse. Think about it. At this rate, how will your life be in a month or even a year? Maybe you've been putting things off, but the time to act is now. The country is running out of food. You need to get your seeds before it's too late. At organicaseed.com, you'll find one of the largest online selections of heirloom seeds, survival seed packs, as well as the giant vegetable seed collections that can feed you and your family for years. Grow your very own fresh vegetables, wheatgrass, fruits, herbs, rice, tea, coffee, and tobacco. With detailed growing guides available to you at no charge, you can maximize your harvest and investment. And the best part? All orders ship within 24 hours. So head over to organicaseed.com. That's ORGANICA seed.com. Organicaseed.com today.
The establishment, the greenies, love to sit up there like they're God and tell us how guilty and evil we are for having cars and homes and swimming pools and factories. Meanwhile, they use these laws to shut down our factories and move them to China and India. They know exactly what they're doing, and they must be fully routed. This cancer cannot be left anywhere. And they've committed such incredible crimes. They've reached for the world through this green tyranny. Lord Monckton, I mean, do you agree with me that we can't just discredit them? They've committed crimes. They must be brought to justice?
That, I think, is the fairest thing to do with people who have terrified children in schools, lied and lied and lied again in official publications, invented a threat where one doesn't exist, magnified it where one might exist, and generally worked the world up into a fervor of terror over what turns out to be a complete non-problem. And how do we know it is a non-problem?